Hello viewers of Sounding Board, and today we're going to talk about the MEGO Planet of the Apes re-release, yes, re-release of Dr. Zaius under the original MEGO name, not one of the other guys that licensed the MEGO property and made their own replicas of the Planet of the Apes. This is a reissue of the original classic Planet of the Apes figures. And here's Dr. Zaius. I haven't found Cornelius yet, but let's open him up and take a look. And they have Cornelius, the ape General Ursa, and surprisingly they take the Cornelius figure and they actually made it into Battle for the Planet of the Apes Galen, which is kind of cool. So he's made out. He's basically a darker body. He's made out of a newer head type because, as you can see, he's got the plug that goes this way, not the plug that goes down into the body. So that's really one of the few differences of this figure from the original. His suit is made out of the kind of the canvas thing. It doesn't have the leather up here anymore, which the original had. But it does have the fur, and he does have the furry hands, the werewolf hands, which became, yeah, actually they did become the werewolf hands for a while, until the werewolf got his own hands. And he's got vinyl boots this time, not a hard plastic, and he has the Planet of the Apes boots because it even has the inscription of the ape language here, in here, and here, which the original boots had of Dr. Zaius. Because I have an original string version, but he broke, and he's got the hard plastic for his boots, not a soft plastic. But this is what he looks like now. He's a little darker in the face than the original, but that's fine. There's a lot of people who are paying expensive prices to get a Dr. Zaius, and now you can get an affordable one. It's not quite what you expected, but you see, but this is a replica of the original rendition of it, not a movie accurate one, which Hasbro did a pretty decent job at a 12-inch one for the first rendition of the Return of the Planet of the Apes figures. Except for the rooted hair was kind of goofy. So now you can have Dr. Zaius talk to Donald Trump. And so, you were hiding from us the truth. Yes, Dr. Zaius was hiding the truth about the election from Donald Trump. So Dr. Zaius rigged the election so Donald Trump would lose, because he wouldn't understand the truth. Or you can have use Apache Chief as one of the natives. I would get the Sucker Monster, but that's kind of dumb. And stuff like that. I'm getting kind of dumb with this because it's really hard to think of something to do with Dr. Zaius with other figures without a plethora of Planet of the Apes figures like the Ape Guards and the Apes, the other ape figures. You know, but that was a fun part, I think, of the Planet of the Apes for kids of that era, because they were before my time as playing when I collected Megos. So I enjoyed Star Trek, but I never enjoyed the Planet of the Apes. And the Planet of the Apes was actually a toy line designed to play with outside more, because they had play sets. You could play with them indoors, but their sets were thematically the Forbidden Zone, the Planet of the Apes Treehouse, stuff that lent itself to playing out in the backyard on a Saturday afternoon. and letting your imagination run wild with your brother, your sister, or your best friend in the neighborhood. Or just by yourself if you enjoyed playing Planet of the Apes and no one else did, and you had a plethora of other figures like Donald Trump and Apache Chief and other apes to play an ape war if you wanted. You know, because after all, Donald Trump would lead the mutants into combat against Ape City. And Apache Chief would be in the cage, ironically, because he looks like one of the crazy guys, the mutant humans. Not the mutation humans, but the mutant humans from the disease that lost the ability to think and be that way. And then you could have aliens appear and fight the Planet of the Apes if you wanted. Have the Star Trek guys appear later down the road. Have Action Jackson appear and be one of the astronauts because he had an astronaut suit. Or just use the astronaut from the show, the thing, which I was thinking about. He doesn't really look like quite like Charlton Heston. He doesn't look anything like Charlton Heston. And his costume really has nothing to do with Planet of the Apes. It's kind of an Action Jackson knockoff. But if you remove the helmet and and replace it with a general's hat, I wonder if that figure was actually planned not to be the astronaut, but to be the Omega Man. But things fell through, and Mego reused all the stuff they had designed for the Omega Man for that figure and attached it to the Planet of the Apes line, because I think the series came in this series came in after Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and Charlton Heston was working on the Omega Man at the time Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and he had 2 days off and filmed all his scenes for Beneath the Planet of the Apes in 2 days, which is quite impressive because that's almost 50% of the film you see Charlton Heston in. That's 2 days worth of work there, which would be a month's worth of work for a normal actor. But that's basically the last film we actually also see Dr. Zaius in too, where he confronts the mutants and he tells them that the ape culture is the way to go because the mutants destroyed man before, and they don't want to let man destroy the world again. But what do you think of old Dr. Zaius here? He does have the original points of articulation too, and the short pants. So once you move his legs, you got to tuck the pants back underneath the boots. They could have done something to fix that up. He has a point of articulation here, here, here. The old Megos were better with clothing than the new ones because of the changing in the body. It's almost sometimes they were designed never to be removed from the packages, even though people, and especially old collectors, like to display them and create dioramas with them. And so, yeah, like my friend Tony said, he liked to strip figures down and liked to have them wrestle naked and fight naked because then the clothes wouldn't impede their articulation. But until next time, this is the Sounding Board, signing off.